Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sarah Sunstone, and today I'm going to be sharing some easy design tips and tricks to help you get started on creating the farm of your dreams on Coral Island. There's actually already a wide variety of furniture and decor options to get you started, and the team will only be adding more options in the future. But given the massive size of your farmland, it can be overwhelming to start designing, so I'm here to help. So without any further ado, let's get into the tips and tricks. First off, depending on where you're at in your gameplay, your farmland may still be quite overrun. You might also not have all your tool upgrades yet, and you may have a smaller stamina bar to work with. So if you're in a rush to clear out your farmland and start decorating, I would recommend crafting simple explosives to clear everything up with ease. You will unlock the crafting recipe for the explosives basically as soon as you start mining. When you achieve mining level 1, you craft them using 1 piece of bronze ore and 4 pieces of coal, and you can also make additional coal with your kiln if you run out. When you're using explosives, they don't consume any stamina, so I personally believe this is the easiest way to clear a lot of your land quickly. 2 special notes here. First of all, please make sure your farmer is standing clear of the blast zone when you set off the explosive to avoid taking damage, and also be sure to keep all of the resources you collect from clearing your land, especially the tree seeds. And we'll actually circle back to this later in the video. So whether you've decided to clear out your land or not, next I would suggest using the farm layout view mode to get a lay of the land. Simply by pressing P on your keyboard, you can get a bird's eye view of your entire farm. This feature really helps me visualize the area I have to work with, which further helps me to make choices about general placements for different buildings and areas. You could also use this feature in conjunction with grid paper if you really want to plan everything out in more detail, but another great thing about this tool is that the time pauses while in this view mode, so you can really take your time, think, visualize, and plan. And speaking of time, you should definitely slow the in-game time down to the slowest possible speed, which is 50%. Your days will go by quicker when you're decorating, since you most likely won't be engaging with as many time pausing features, like chatting with NPCs for example, and also it will just feel quicker when you're designing, so slow down the time as much as you can and get the most out of your design days. Now, even after using the farm view tool and slowing down the time, it's easy to still feel overwhelmed. Where do you even start? One great way to begin is by creating a layout with paths. First of all, decide how wide you want your paths to be, maybe 2 or 3 tiles wide, and just start laying them out tile by tile to section off different areas. For example, where your crops will be, how this area will link to your farm buildings, your house, your 4 farm entrances, so on and so forth. It's also helpful to decide what general areas you want to include, for example, a beach area, a park, or a campsite, and then block these out with the pathing. By doing this, you're essentially creating a working blueprint for your farmland and setting yourself up nicely to build out each of these areas that you create. Which leads us to my next tip, which is to direct your focus on one small area at a time once you actually start laying down decor. So for example, the yard space next to your house is a really great place to start. Maybe you want to focus just on one single entrance, like the south entrance to your farm, maybe the area around your horse stable, or next to your greenhouse. To avoid getting overwhelmed, just pick one area that you're motivated to work on and focus everything here. But also don't be afraid to move away from the project partway through if you get inspiration for a different area. You can always come back to it later. Over and above this, I would also suggest choosing a certain style or vibe for each area you focus on to help theme the decor that you buy. So for example, I wanted to go for a more natural and woodsy vibe for the area around my horse stable, since the stable itself is made out of wood, but then in my park I want it to include greenery and stone. Having these general themes in mind helped me focus on which furniture pieces I wanted to buy for the areas when I was shopping, and it also just enhanced my actual design experience as well. So I would definitely recommend doing this to start off and then start mixing and matching once you have like a general vibe going. So remember all those tree seeds you saved? The next tip is to use them in your design and plant them as soon as you can so you can see how they look when they grow in, and then design around the trees. The trees definitely vary in growth rate. It seems that every day there's a chance in the morning that any number of your trees may have grown a stage forward, so some will grow quicker than others, and that's why I suggest you get a head start on planting them. And if in doubt about the placement, just plant a couple extras in the same sort of area for backup placements, and then you can cut down whichever ones you don't love. And a fun little tip here is that you can actually plant trees on top of paths, which can really come in handy and make for a much more seamless design appearance. Similar to planting trees on paths, you can also plant grass starters on paths, and I suggest you incorporate this item into your design. You can purchase grass starters at Sam's General Store for just 10 coins a piece, and they really add to the appearance of your farm. I recently discovered that you can plant them on top of grass tiles specifically, which are available at the furniture store, and layering the grass tiles with the grass starters makes the grassy areas you create look super full with no dirt showing through. So this is definitely something worth considering incorporating into your design. But do keep in mind that the grass starters will die off in the winter and you will have to replant them in the spring. I don't really mind that because I feel like we're going to be redesigning a lot anyway, but do keep that in mind. If your design is heavily based around grass starters, they will, have to be replaced. So grass tiles can be pricey. Furniture in general can be pricey. I hear you, Sarah. I have no money to buy all these grass tiles you're recommending I buy and all this beautiful furniture. What do I do? My next tip is to actually use craftable items to get a start on your design while you earn money to upgrade your decor. You'd be surprised what a difference some simple fencing, pathways, and arches can make in your farm's appearance. Some of my personal favorites are the wooden path, which actually curves as you place it, allowing for a lot of design flexibility, and these pebble paths, which can be placed around here and there to add a natural cobblestone look. The wooden arches are also really nice, and you could even craft hay chests to look like piles of hay next to your barn. And although it's not available at the moment, there will ultimately be a hedge fence recipe, which is so versatile for design. And once it's available again, you could actually fill an area of your farm with something like a hedge maze to add a nice design element and fill up space while you're working towards saving money for other decor. Right now in the current build of Early Access, if you still really want hedges, you can actually purchase this fence piece at the furniture store, and once you connect multiple together, it'll actually become hedges with the stone pillars on either end. So if you need it now, definitely buy this item. If you can wait till the next update, I'm guessing they're gonna add it back in March. Fingers crossed anyway, so it's up to you if you want to wait and see, or if you want to just purchase these other alternatives now. But that is my tip. If you don't have a lot of money, definitely see what kind of craftable items you can decorate with first. My next tip is to use what I call clutter or filler items to add to any area. So I consider these items to be any item that only occupies a single tile. Now, the fact that design in Coral Island is currently locked to a grid system does detract slightly from the flexibility of using these items effectively and to the best of their capabilities. In Animal Crossing, my favorite way to design with clutter items is by offsetting them diagonally from each other. This adds more dimension to a design space instead of having items placed in a super linear fashion. So fingers crossed that this will ultimately be a possibility in the future for Coral Island, but you can still make really good use of clutter items with a bit of extra thought in Coral Island. Some of my favorite items that add to almost any space I make are lights and plants. Now, my final main tip for today, before I share a few bonus tips, is about how to approach incorporating artisan machines into your design. Right now, it feels like you really need a significant number of these machines to make decent money, and although I hope that in the next update this will be slightly adjusted, they will always be a part of your farm. So how do we make them our friends instead of our enemies? I personally suggest picking your favorite looking machines and structuring areas that blend them in with the natural environment, like what I've done here with my bee houses. I'm also planning to place my yogurt machines beneath the trees I grow in here, and I've added plants around my mason jars. Similar to much of what Coral Island has done with the world design, I wanted to reflect the marriage between human-made and natural elements in my farm as well. Now, what about the less cute machines? One thing you actually could do is hide them behind things. So for example, you could put them behind trees. What I've done right now, just for the time being, is I've put all of my least favorite looking machines together behind my farm buildings. So I've just put them all in one area. It's like my processing area. This area isn't done yet. I'm going to like plant trees around it as well, but this is what I've done right now. I definitely think we can come up with other solutions as a community in the future. And you know, some of these are actually kind of cute. Like the recycling machine's actually really cute. I just would love to be able to rotate it. I think if I could rotate some of these machines, I could really make some cute areas with them. So this is what I've done for now, but I'll be sure to keep you posted if I come up with any great ideas for designing with these in the future. So those were 10 design tips and tricks to get you started with your farm on Coral Island, but here are a couple of bonus tips. So first, if you've changed your mind about the placement of an item, there's no need to worry. Simply hit the item with your pickaxe or your axe to pick it up. And second, if you want to rotate an item, it's easy. Just face your player the direction you want the item to face, and you're good to go. If the item doesn't rotate, it might not be implemented just yet. Well, there you have it, friends. I hope you enjoyed these design tips and tricks to get you started, and I look forward to sharing more with you all as I continue my design journey on Coral Island. Have you achieved the farm of your dreams yet? Are you waiting for more items to be added? Or are you just still waiting to get started? Let me know in the comments below. You know I always love hearing from you. And with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. I love you all, and until next time, take care. And a very special thanks to Meredith, for Modus, Tansy, Cisco, Cheese, Coons, Divine Raven, and Magic, my beautiful Sunstone members. I love you all very much, and thank you so much for the extra support, which really helps to make all that I do on this channel possible and means the world to me.